Welcome to Packmates, a podcast about Magic the Gathering Limited, where we take a deep dive into the current limited formats. The Packmates are a group of card sharks that love drafting, hanging out, and going to FNM. Don't forget to check out our socials and join the Discord. The links are all in the description. And I'm Robi, the resident turtle expert.
And I'm Ryan, the resident aggro expert. We are the Packmates.
And this week we're going to talk about some FNM recaps, some tier lists, and some agree to disagrees. So I'm going to send it off to Ryan about his draft deck. Tell us about it.
Are we no longer friends? We took out friends out of the thing? Are we not friends?
We're fucking card sharks.
Word. Okay. Adversarial.
We can be friends too. We can be friendly card sharks. I thought about putting that.
friendly card sharks.
Like the nice sharks that don't eat the other fish. Like
we're Bruce, right?
Yeah, the vegan sharks.
Yeah, we're vegan sharks. All right, this week I had like an is it deck that was kind of prowess, kind of draw two, but really more of a neither in both situation. On the list here, it says I had 2 machines over matters, which is the unsummons, but I really had 1 and 1 flowstone animation. Is that what it's called? Flowstone
animation? What's that?
Lightstone's animation.
Lightstone's
animation. I had 2 combat couriers, which is sick. A third path iconoclast, and then a bunch of stuff that killed stuff or drew cards. I had 2 strong bulls, and my deck was really built around 3 of the Latinum adepts, and that's the 4-drop 3/3 that whenever you draw a card or your second card each turn, it gets a counter. And my deck was built around just really trying to get that to trigger at least a couple times because I had Brotherhood's End. That's the 3-mana red board wipe that deals 3 damage to each creature and each planeswalker, or you can destroy all artifacts with mana value 3 or less. And I just try to play stuff that I can make bigger than 3 toughness and then wipe the board and win. So I didn't really draw the Iconoclast very much. I think I drew him once. I had 3 or 4 solid removal spells, and then all of my non-creature, non-removal spells basically drew me a card. Strong Bull was an all-star, just sacking stuff to get late game damage through and just being a threat. The board wipe was super good. Take Flight's good, but I often sideboarded it out. And I had 2 Dragon Engines, and I had Steel Seraph, and Steel Seraph's the 5/5 that gives something a keyword, but has prototype for 1 and triple white, and it's a 3/3 flyer. You can give something like Flying, Vigilance, or Lifelink. Yeah, that was the deck.
Yep. Did you ever use your Elsewhere flask? Did you ever crack it?
No, I was just in there to draw a card and sack this strong
Yeah.
And to be like a non-creature spell that replaces itself, right? For like Iconoclast.
Yeah, this is the most Ryan is it deck I've ever seen. It's got too many creatures.
There's no such thing as too many creatures.
That is a thing, actually. Yeah.
No.
Especially in this format.
Oh, that was the thing. I had 2 Stern Lessons and only 1 machine over matter. I don't know why that happened, but this is like a post board weird. I think I self-sabotaged myself by sideboarding in the finals. I went 2-1 and got second. Yeah, Ichor Wellspring was sick though. That's the 2-mana artifact that when it enters the battlefield or dies, you draw a card, put in the graveyard.
Yeah, that card's good, especially with the Strong Bull. Yeah,
the Strong Bull and the animation, like this is pretty good.
Mm-hmm. I don't know about the whole late name adept game plan. That's pretty sketch. I guess if you have them, like it's fine, but like that's like the worst way to do it, right? Like you really just want like the Thopter guy. But that's like super.
Yeah, that's uncommon.
Yeah.
The adept was pretty good. Like
it's like the bad version of that.
Yeah, but it was probably one of the better cards in my deck. Like it was super easy to make him into a 4/4, and then like somewhat easy to get a couple more counters on him. You know what I mean? Like almost every time I played him the turn after, he was a 4/4.
The double combat courier really helps for sure.
Yeah, and I had 2 Stern Lessons too, so I could do it at instant speed. The Stern Lessons are like kind of cute with the Strong Bulls too, because they made that Power Stone.
Power Stone for that, yeah.
Yeah, so it just enabled a lot of attacks that maybe wouldn't have been enabled otherwise.
Do you think Do you think Combat Courier or Stern Lesson is better?
Combat Courier, probably.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
Do you think it's better to try and activate your draw 2 on your turn than your opponent's?
what do you mean? Like
Like
to get the counter? Like it's cute
yeah,
to do it on your opponent's turn if you can, right? Like
yeah.
but it's easier to do
It's
it on your
easier.
turn. I feel like the third path iconoclast with the strongbow combo could be like the real deal eventually. Like making 1/1s to just sack the strongbow and enable like tons of attacks could be like mega cute.
Yeah.
But
Did it ever happen?
no,
Yeah, you don't have enough
never happened.
non-creature spells to really pop that off. That's crazy.
Yeah,
That would be tight.
yeah.
How many creatures are you running, Ryan?
Let's see, a lot. Like I think it was 16 when I counted it to 14 in this version and a Milestones animation.
Okay. So what about your curve? I think you might be falling behind. I don't know if you're
Yeah, I don't
asleep.
have the full 18 1 to 3 drops, that's for sure.
Yeah, like
Right.
yeah, I think you're a little short in that category. I noticed that.
Yeah, I only have 14 1 to 3 drops, but
Ooh.
that's because I had the board wipe. The brothers and that kills basically all 1 to 3 drops.
Yeah, I don't think that's like a hard rule either.
Yeah,
But
I know. Like when I was looking at those trophy decks, I did notice that the Izzet decks were the ones that were like 7 creatures or like weird, like had weird stats about them. You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
compared to the rest.
Well, the green decks have real mega skewed weird stats too, right? Because
Yeah,
they've got all the prototype creatures.
yeah. But all in all, this deck was like mega consistent, and I basically just lost to Warlords Elites, and I just couldn't deal with them.
That
I just
looks
had
like
so much draw that like I just always had stuff to do, and I don't know, always
I
had
know.
good stuff.
So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8 ways to draw cards. That's good. Yeah.
Well, and like, are you counting the other Stern Lesson instead of the Machine Over
Yeah.
Matter?
Yeah.
So yeah, 2, 4.
Take flight too. I didn't
Yeah,
count take flight, but you got quite a few ways to draw cards. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And
Checks out.
then Combat Courier,
Is
Combat Courier is so
FNM
good
like
because it draws so many
yeah.
cards.
It is so good. I genuinely am a huge fan.
Yeah.
What were you hulking morphing? I saw you do it to something that I thought was funny. I don't
Hulking
remember.
Metamorph? I don't
Yeah.
think I ever played it. Did I?
I watched you play it one time and you copied something and I thought it was funny, but I don't remember what it was.
I don't think I ever played it. I think I was bringing it on the board. Did I copy
I
something?
saw you play it one time.
Was it
I don't remember what it was. It was funny though.
was it a
Third path
Dragon Engine?
iconoclast. You copied the iconoclast?
Oh, I don't think that ever happened. I think I said to you that that's what I would
Oh,
copy if I could. I
yeah.
think that's what happened. Because I think you looked at the deck and said, "What are you copying with Hulking Metamorph?"
Yeah.
And I was like, "Third Path Iconoclast, dog. Get 2/1
Platinum Adept is kind of funny. The Dragon Engine's kind of cute too.
Yeah, and still
That's
Seraph
kinda
would have been good to copy.
Yeah.
The Forge Chanter would be fine. Like the Ward pay 2 life and it has prowess.
Yeah, that's like getting the bottom of the barrel.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
Strong Bull would be worse than that, right? Or in Cinder
Yeah.
Maw, but that's it. Yeah, anything with flying. I
There's
just didn't.
nothing in your deck except the Dragon Engines and the Seraphs.
Yeah, the Dragon Engines were pretty decent.
Yeah, it's okay.
I mean, 1/3s for 3. So, like, if you put those down on my 3 drops, we're getting closer. Still, Seraph is a 3 drop in white decks, but it's not in this deck because it has no planes. But,
You have the Elsewhere Flask.
yeah, I did have Elsewhere Flask. I never had the Elsewhere Flask and the Still Seraph and not 6 mana, though. I actually only drew Still Seraph in the games where the guy was running a bunch of disenchants, so I didn't have a ton of artifacts that were targets. So every time I resolved it, just died immediately.
Instantaneously died.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's probably pretty normal.
Yeah. Yeah, I needed some more good artifacts in here to draw out those disenchants, I guess. But yeah, good deck, 2-1, super consistent. Take Flight came in and out a lot. If they had a ton of removal, took it out, but also won me some games. Just like Latin Adept and Take Flight is just like really tough for a lot of people to deal with. Once it becomes a 4/4 and really a 5/5, It gets over the hump for a lot of cards. But yeah,
Yeah.
solid deck. What about you, Roby? What'd you have?
I had a pretty jank one here. So I was playing like just everything. Mono good cards. Basically just random. I was base green, splashing for literally everything. I had a couple pretty high value rares in Mesmeric Orb, the 2-mana mill card that whenever a permanent becomes untapped, its controller mills that many cards from the top of their library. So like just like a nuclear bomb in my deck basically. And I also had Transmogrant's Crown, which is the 2-mana artifact that whenever the creature it's equipped to dies, you get a draw card. And those are basically like my big bombs in my deck. And then I just had a bunch of value stuff like Excavation Explosion, the removal spell, 3-mana, make a power stone, 3 damage to any target. And I was trying to play all the unearth guys as much as I could. So I had the Scrapwork Rager, the Phyrexian Rager with Unearth, the Scrapwork Mutt, the 2-mana 2/1 that lets you draw discard draw, and Combat Courier, the 1/1 that lets you draw. And then I was just popping off. And I ended up going 1/1 and 1, which isn't ideal, but yeah.
How was Goblin Firebomb?
It was kind of okay.
Was it your
It got
worst card?
countered a lot. I had a game where the dude just kept countering it, and I was like, okay. Like, it's turn 3 and you're countering my Goblin Firebomb. Like, hell yeah. Like, I'm okay with that. The only reason it's really in here is because game 1, I played against someone who had Helm of the Host, and I didn't have a single way to deal with it.
I see.
I think I had a disenchant in my sideboard, but I think I just like lost it. I think I just like, dropped it on the ground. And so like I was like, dang it, I'll just put this Goblin Firebomb in.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I just left it because it was kind of fine. It's kind of cute to have Goblin Firebomb in a deck with Emergency Wild.
Yeah, it's kind of cute with Levitating Statue too, right?
Yeah.
Those
Yeah.
counters
Or like the Dissident. Like I had, or the Steel Seeker, the
yeah.
2-mana guys that have artifact fall. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it kind of works out.
Skyfisher Spider, can you sack an artifact for Skyfish? I don't think you can you?
You
have to
can't.
sack a creature.
You can't. You have to sack a creature.
Still good though.
It's still really good. Yeah. Usually I was sacking
and then there's
the stalwarts usually because they're good. The 1-mana tap draw or tap for any color of mana. You can tap an artifact or creature.
Yeah.
Goblin Firebomb's also mega cute with that too, right?
Yeah.
It's
just a free thing to tap forever.
Yep. I did reach my quota of 18-3 or less less drops for sure.
Yeah, you did. And 1/1. So
yeah.
Do you think you would have got there on the draw?
Got there if
if it didn't go to time.
Yeah. And my one loss went to game 3 and was real close.
Nice. Did you ever mill anyone with a Mesmeric Orb?
I did get it once, and it was insane.
Really? You only drew it once?
I only played it once.
Oh.
I used it one time to get lethal, just off my artifact fall. But then I used it once and actually milled someone, and it was insane.
And then what happened the game after that?
They brought in the Stone Brain and killed it on turn 3. Exiled it from my library, but I just won from value. From just because I didn't really. So I started off with a 49 card deck with my Mesmeric Orb, trying to play around it super hard. And I think that's super wrong now. That was my first. That's why I ended up drawing, because my game 1, I had a 49 card deck and I lost to Helm of the Host, which is kind of unbeatable. Especially pre-Goblin Firebomb. I had no way to kill the Helm of the Host.
Yeah, Helm of the Host is pretty good.
I was just trying to kill the creature that they attached it to repeatedly,
Yeah.
which is like the worst thing you could ever do. Like,
Yeah. Because they already have another one, right? Like,
well, if you get it, so my opponent was like kind of like short on land, so they only had 5 mana. So if I could kill their creature, then they would have to take their entire turn to equip it to a different creature. So I ended up like stalling the game out. Like probably I lived through like probably like 10 turns of Helm of the Host being on the battlefield,
jeez.
which is insane.
Yeah.
I was like real close to winning that too. But it's
Is
hard to compete with that.
Yeah, for sure. Helm of those is super good. Is Skyfisher Spider? Was it just amazing in your deck?
Yeah.
Like green black.
It's always
Cyber?
amazing. It's amazing in every deck.
Right. Okay.
Especially
Anything-
like having an emergency wild is super cute too.
Yeah, emergency world is.
Because it gives you the 1/1 to sack too.
Cool.
And then like in the late game, you just block and then gain 1,000,000 life.
Yeah. Yep. That's good.
That's Skyfisher Spider was like instrumental in my mill win because I had it on the battlefield and my opponent had to trade with it to get in.
Uh-huh.
And then I just got to gain the life that I needed for my opponent to like they would have had to literally not play anything.
Yeah, like
they actually kill me
yeah.
with their 2/4 creature that they have left.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's hilarious. That is hilarious. Like,
Like,
you have Mesmeric Orb and then you just gain like 7 life and you're just like,
yeah, let's go.
yeah, I guess you're just not tapping anything for the rest of the game, dog.
Yeah,
Like,
I wasn't. I literally wasn't tapping anything.
that's
I was just like
hilarious.
pass.
You just did a quick calculation and like, yep, you don't have enough cards left to win.
Yeah. Mesmeric Orb really is like a nuclear bomb. Like it can kill you so hard too.
Yeah. Yeah, because like there'll be some turns where you just play it and they mill 10, right?
Yeah, that was the turn I played it. Like you gotta get the board state like close to even. As close to even as you can, and then just drop it like a bomb. Like
that's hilarious.
Yeah. It was fun. It was fun.
Would
Ryan
you play it?
Mesmeric Orb.
Yeah, it was tough.
I was right next to Ryan. Yeah.
I took the brothers Brotherhood end over it, the board wipe. Would you play Millstone with this? Or is
Probably
that just
maybe
unnecessary?
It's unnecessary, but like I don't think it would be that bad, realistically. Because like I have like enough stuff to really like justify having random do nothing artifacts, right?
Sure.
With,
Yeah, you have like enough triggers.
Yeah, there's
The
constantly
Dissident,
triggers.
the Steel Seeker.
The Steel Seeker was sick in this deck. Like he put me in games that I like had no business being in.
Yeah, he just draws a ton of cards and no one ever wants to deal with him because he's like a 1/2 for 2, right?
Yeah. He's terrible to use removal on.
Like if you have a disfigure, sure, but like
yeah,
other
that's
than
like
that,
it,
like
though. That's a really good removal spell to spend on him.
other than that, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Maybe you can flash into the 1/2 flyers and block them if they ever attack.
Yeah, he's good.
Yep. Listen, how was Lodestone Golem? Non-artifact spells cost more.
That put me in games I shouldn't have been in. That just like messes up your opponent's next turn.
Yeah.
It kind of just like throws them completely off. Because like most people spend their time like thinking about what they're going to do next turn, and then the turn you play Lodestone Golem, like they just can't. They just can't do what they were planning on doing.
Yeah.
It was good.
Yeah.
He was good in this deck too because I had like 9 trillion artifacts.
Yep.
But yeah.
Looks sick.
Yep. It is hard to play.
Yeah.
Like 800,000 decisions every turn.
Yeah.
But yep, it was fun.
Yep.
So next up, we decided to try something new and do a tier list. Specifically 2 tier lists. And even more specifically, I wanted to do a tier list of the unearthed cards. And we'll put the link in the description so you guys can do this too if you want to. But yeah. So I'll start us off.
All right. And this is mythics, rares, commons, and uncommons, right?
Yep. I
Unearthed
decided to
cards.
do all of them because some of the rares are dookie. All right, so we're gonna start off our unearthed tier list with Ashnod something or other. What's that called, Ryan?
Ashnod's Harvester,
Yeah,
right?
the 3/1 that unearths for 1 and a black, and it exiles something from a graveyard, and it's weirdly not like a May ability. So if you have something in your graveyard, it has to exile that too.
Yeah, and we're going S A B C D. I see. No,
Yes.
no Fs. Notably, no
No
Fs.
Fs. There's no Fs. There's no, like all these cards are totally playable.
Okay.
But what do you think about this one, Ryan? Where would you put this one? I already
Uh,
have an
I
idea.
think it's one of the better 2 drops of the set. I'm between A and B.
I'm with you. It's hard to like go in either A or B for this because like I feel like it's an A, but
Yeah.
there's so many other better A's, I think.
Yeah, but it's
Well,
probably one of the
it's very
best two
good. It's
drops.
very good.
Like, yeah, it's probably worse than Scrapwork Mud, though, right?
I don't know. We'll get to that. We'll get to
Fair
that for
enough.
sure.
Okay.
Then next up we have Scrapwork Rager, which is the 4 mana 2/2. It's basically Phyrexian Rager. You lose a life and you draw a card. I love this card.
I do too.
I probably have this in the A above the Harvester. I don't
Okay.
know. The Harvester's
That's already too many A's.
super. I don't know. I don't know if you can put this in B though.
Like, pack one, pick one. Which one are you taking first?
Harvester.
Yeah,
For
same.
sure. Yeah. I would probably put him in B. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair.
Good.
Yeah. I mean, it's
He's
solid.
common
It's
though.
super solid. Yeah, he's common.
So he's like super good in like the draw two, right? The draw two deck, and basically any deck ever, but specifically draw two.
Any deck that has access to a swamp, right? I mean, he's good in any
Even
deck,
like
but
kind of not.
yeah, you don't have to have access to a swamp, but
Yeah,
he's better if you
he's
do.
better. Yep,
Next up, we have Mishra's Juggernaut. What's
I
that
do
one
know
do?
this one. What does this do, Ryan?
Oh, it's a 5 mana 5/3 with trample, and it attacks each combat, and you can unearth it for 5 and a red.
Is it better than Scrapwork Rager?
No,
Yeah, I agree. I agree. This one's a. It's like a begrudgingly playable card that I die to all the time.
yeah, it's like a C, sure.
Yeah, that's where I'm at on it too.
Oh,
It is scary. It's
yeah,
mega
when they play it and you don't have an answer, it's pretty scary.
like yeah, for sure. Like it's definitely a super playable card.
Oftentimes, it's just going to trade for 2 things. And you're just like, geez.
And then you have to like deal with it just sitting in their graveyard.
Yeah. And
And then
it's like the scariest thing ever to block too, because if they have any busts, you just like lose the game on the spot.
yeah, because it's so stupid. Like Titania, like the one Gaia's gift or whatever. The
Yeah,
2 mana
or
boost,
giant growth, or +2
or
+0 first
Lawrence.
strike, or
Yeah,
1 in first strike, or yeah,
yeah. It
so
is
much.
moment of defiance.
Yeah, anything,
Like
like literally anything.
yeah, like anything scary with that guy.
Yeah, let's play that guy in bust. It could be a good deck.
Yeah, that's usually where I see him. Next
Uh,
up, we have the heavyweight demolisher, the 8 mana whatever. Is it better than Juggernaut?
no,
I weirdly don't think so either. I think it's probably like one of the worst ones.
same.
Like, doesn't it cost infinity mana to untap it or whatever?
Yeah,
It costs a bunch of mana.
like you have to pay it before you draw. Like
Yeah,
it
it's
costs
annoying.
3 mana at the beginning of your upkeep. You tap it unless you pay 3 mana, and it costs 8 to unearth it, and it costs 7 just to play it. And then you have to pay the 3 upkeep. And then if your
Yeah.
like opponent kills it after you pay the 3 upkeep, like it kind of screws your whole turn.
Yeah. I
Like if it swings, it's amazing, right? Like an 8/6 Menace is obviously dummy if it swings, but like you have to protect it
yeah.
because
I
you're really
hate it.
sinking 10 mana into it. Yeah, it's bad. It's bad news bears.
Next up, we have Phyrexian Dragon Engine, the 3 mana 2/2 double striker that unearths for 4, and then you discard your hand and draw 2 or 3. I don't
Draw
remember.
3, yeah, draw 3.
Draw 3. Is this S tier, Ryan?
No, it's an A.
I don't think so either. I think it's like an A. It's extremely good, But the fact that it like dies to disfigure is disgusting.
It's better than Ashnod's Harvester, though, right?
For
Like,
sure, for
yeah,
sure, way
okay.
better. Like I still
But
think it's good though.
yeah, I think it's good. But
Super
I don't
good.
think it's an S.
Yeah, I agree with that. Next up, we have Scrapwork Mutt. Or is this Asteron?
Oh
S tier?
gosh.
It's
I get
close. It's
like
close to
I'm
me.
not taking Scrapwork Mutt over the Rage over the Dragon Engine, but I am taking it over the
It's
Harvester.
kind of better though. It's
Like
almost
maybe, but like
it,
the other one does let you just like straight up draw through you when you run out of gas. But
yeah, but Scrapwork Mutt is very good.
oh
And like
yeah,
the
it
two
is.
mana, it's like hardly behind it though. It's
Yeah,
probably the best common one, I think.
probably.
Honestly.
Yep. So it's an A. Scrapwork Mutt's an A.
I have it in A. It's close to being better than the Dragon. The
Engine.
Dragon Engine.
Sure.
I wouldn't even like fault you if you took it over the Dragon Engine.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely wouldn't be like I definitely wouldn't be like, what are you thinking? It's pretty close. It's close. But it feels way better than the Harvester, right?
Yeah,
Should the Harvester be a B?
I don't know. I still think it's A though. I don't
Okay.
know. Maybe we could go down to B on Harvester. We'll
Because
see.
like
We'll see how
to me, Harvester's not
best
even
hitting.
close to those other two A cards.
Yeah, but it's still higher than Rager. Okay,
Yeah. Okay.
we'll go down on Harvester for now.
Okay.
Next up, we have Mishra's Research Desk. The one mana, sack it. You get to exile the top two. You get to pick one.
Yeah.
Put it in your hand. Put it, and then you don't put it in your hand. You can play it till next turn.
Till the end of your next turn, so you
End of
get two.
next turn.
So if you do it on your turn, you can get like 2 turns.
Yep.
I like it,
I think it's A.
but oftentimes in practice, it doesn't play out quite as bad. I don't think it's an A.
I would honestly
I'm,
disagree.
I think it's.
I
I
think
think I
it's
might have like a
very
C with it.
no, that's wrong.
Like
I'll,
I
I'll
would
put it
definitely take.
B.
I would definitely take all those cards in the A and B category over the research test.
Oh, it's so good though.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's not. I'm just saying those cards are better.
I don't know. Like having so the thing about this format is it's so fast that like being able to like just cycle through your deck as fast as you possibly can.
But that's like a 2 mana kind of like almost do nothing, right? Like, I mean, it's not a do nothing, but it's not better in a
Like,
fast format than any of these
it's
cards.
basically like a mono red divination. That
Like,
happens.
sure, but divination's like not that good. But divination draws 2 cards and not just one.
Yeah, but you're getting to pick one.
It's like,
You get to see two cards, right?
yeah, you get a C2, pick one. So it's like,
So it's like a divination if you got to like draw four.
what's the Scry 2 draw one?
The
I mean, it's
scry.
basically that. It's like anticipate, but it's an
Yeah.
artifact.
So it like turns on all your artifact stuff, turns on all your power stone stuff, makes your goblin blast runners way bigger. Like
Way
it does
bigger.
so much little stuff.
I don't know. It's not a B to me. I mean, it's fine. Like, I think I've played it quite a bit, but I think I have it at a C. Like, I'm definitely taking Ashnod's Harvester and Ray. Like,
I would probably take
Scrapbook
Ashman's
Rager.
Harvester over it. I don't think I would take Rager over it
Okay, that's
unless I was specifically in their deck. Stacking something is real. Like
okay.
that's a real benefit, I think. All right,
That's
next up we have Mask of the Jade Crafter, the 2 mana tap X, create a giant golem, where X is the amount of mana you spent.
yeah,
This is A.
yeah,
It's a
yeah.
for sure.
Is
Make
it
two
above
big giant-
Scrapwork?
Yeah.
Rig?
It's super close. Probably
Yeah.
not. Probably not.
Only because it's green and Scrapwork is red, right?
Red.
Like,
Yeah.
because red's just better.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
But it is very, very strong. Have you ever tapped this for one?
No.
Sucked it?
Oh yeah. Actually, it was like 2, but yeah. Like, yeah, because I was gonna win the game next turn. I just need another blocker. Yeah.
Have you ever tapped it for 0?
No.
I have. For like Yoshin Dissident. Just to get like your extra artifact.
Oh.
Like your artifact fall trigger.
Scrapwork Mutt, or not Scrapwork Mutt, Goblin Blast Runner to get that menace.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it's good. It's good. Like it's tricky. It's like one of the things that can go like super ridiculously deep.
Yeah.
Like you can use it on 2 as like a mana rock with your Sentinel Stalwarts, or like sack it to your Strongbow if you need to. Like just having like do nothing artifacts kind of does stuff too.
Yeah, and I mean, like, it's just kind of solid if your opener's somewhat garbage and you just have a turn 2 and 3 play now.
Yep.
Right?
Yep. It's good. I'm a huge fan.
Yeah.
Next up, we have our. I don't think me and Ryan are gonna argue about this one.
Perennial Behemoth.
Yeah, ass tier.
5 mana, 2/7 with unearned for double green. You can play land cards from your graveyard.
Yeah, sick. But
D.
this is D. This is probably even worse than the Demolisher.
I don't know. It's close. Like,
It's very close.
I would probably take it over the Demolisher on some
Because
real
it's
levels.
a rare, but like it's Demolisher is better.
Is it?
It is. It's like a big stupid beater. Like this is like a big stupid not beater.
Yeah. Defender.
like
I might as well say Defender.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, it's terrible. It does unearth for 2, which is not very like I don't even know why you'd ever want to unearth it. Like I guess, but yeah.
Yeah.
D.
You need that. You need that land from your graveyard.
Yeah, you need that one. Yep. So then next up we have dabbing.
Demian Simulacrum.
This is S tier. This is S tier. It is a disgusting bomb.
Yep, that's the 3 mana 2 one that
it's
puts 2
so
on one
good.
counters. Yeah.
So good. Like, especially if you have like any synergy with it, it's obscenely strong.
Yeah, I mean,
Like-
it's solid as just a 4/3 for 3 by itself, but like if you have like the flyer, like the 1/2, and 2,
Yeah.
and you play this on 3, it's almost good game right there.
Yeah, and like your opponent just like there are games where like your opponent just has to take 2 from it.
Forever.
Where like
Yeah.
if they can't kill it, or else it will literally kill them. Like, yeah, it just messes up the board state. It's so strong.
Yep, it's super solid.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan. S tier. Better than Scrapwork Mutt.
Yeah.
Then we have Mishra, a 5 mana guy that I've never played with.
That gives all artifacts in your graveyard on Earth for 1 and
Yeah.
a black and a red. Yeah.
Does he have an Unearth himself?
No.
Oh.
But he gives
He kind of
control.
has to go in this tier list too.
Yeah, he gives everything on Earth. He gives
He's-
permanents. He gives all permanents you control. Ward, sacrifice a permanent.
Yeah, he's probably top of A right here.
I think he
What do
might be, yes, but he is.
No, he's not. He's not better than Dabbing Ape.
Yeah, he's like slightly worse than Dabbing Ape, but he's heads
Like
and
way
shoulders
worse than
above
Dabbing Ape.
Engine. Like he's way better than Engine.
He is way better than Engine. I have him in A. I can't put him in S tier. I don't think he's as good.
All right, that's fair.
But
He's top of A, top of the class.
top of the class for sure.
Okay.
Then we have our other S tier contender, Cityscape Leveler, S tier.
What's that one do?
Yeah, the 8 mana Ulamog.
Oh yeah,
Like,
yeah.
It has trample too. And
Yeah.
it's an 8/8 for 8 that whenever you cast it, it destroys target permanent, gives them a top power stone. And it also does it every single time it attacks. So it's super foul.
S tier.
S, yeah, probably even S plus. It's better than Dabbing Ape.
Yeah.
I think there are contexts where I think Dabbing Ape might be better. Like they're very close, I think.
Okay. I mean, I disagree.
Like if you were like in a turbo aggro,
yeah, for sure.
having an
Like,
8 drop.
yeah, that like if you're in a turbo aggro deck, the 3 drops better, but every other deck, the 8 drops better.
Yeah.
Like it's just deal with it the turn that it hits the board and kills your best thing or lose.
Yep. Would you just
And-
put this in literally any deck you have?
I mean, not if I'm in like the most tuned hyper aggressive deck, but other than that, yes.
You wouldn't just jam it in a tuned hyper aggressive deck just to have it?
I wouldn't. Just because like my
I
tuned
would.
hyper aggressive decks, I'm never getting 8 mana. I'm just losing the game. Unless I had a way to cheat it in.
Yeah. There are ways
Then
to
it's not
cheat
a
it.
tuned. Yeah, then it's not a tuned hyper aggressive deck.
Yeah. The thing about cheating it in is you don't get the trigger.
Yeah, but
Like you
that's
got a
fine.
cast trigger. But like it just has to live a turn.
Yeah.
Yep. Next up we have Reconstructed Thopter, the 3-mana 2/1 flyer. I have this in B. What do you
It's
think,
just
Fred?
it's just not good enough to be a B. It's a C.
What?
Like it's good.
Yeah.
But we're talking unearthed cards. This is cream of the crop cards in draft. Like all these cards are
It's
like
not
amazing.
flying.
Like I know your heart wants to give it a B, but when you look at all these other cards, like you're taking all of them over.
I'm not taking Scrapwork Rager over
Oh
this.
my gosh, I
I'm
definitely.
not. I'm not. I got to get my 18 three or less drops.
Okay. We'll put
So
it in
like,
B then.
okay, I'll put it right here next up,
I think
right in
you're
front of
I think
Scrapwork
you're
Rager.
sussing on that research desk for sure still.
You
But
think so?
yeah,
I don't
B,
know.
that's nuts. I mean it's good, but it's not
It's very
B.
good, and it goes in literally almost every deck.
No, you have to play red to play that card.
Nah,
Yeah, you're not playing that card in without red mana, access to red mana.
it's so good though. It's
It's
like
it's
insane in the red
fine.
decks. Like,
Like, would
it's
you
such a
rather play research deck? Oh man, we'll talk about it later when we get to there. All right.
All right, next up we have Scrapwork Cohort, the 4-mana 3/1 that makes a 1/1 soldier.
A.
Yeah, Turbo A. And I think it might even be better than Scrapwork Mutt.
I don't think so,
I
but
think it's the
sure.
best common in
It's
this set.
close.
I have it above Scrapwork Mutt.
I have
Ryan has it.
scrapwork mutt above it. Yeah.
The thing about it though is it gives you so many artifact triggers. Like it's
Yeah.
so good in that deck.
But only one deck cares about artifact triggers, right? Like that's why scrapwork
Uh,
mutt's better because it's just a 2-drop that like lets you keep almost any hand.
so the other there is like it's just amazing in every white deck, right?
Yeah.
So I think there's more than one deck that because the 2-drop white guy with vigilance that gets +1/+0 for each artifact that enters the battlefield.
Yeah, he's what? Yeah, he's whatever.
He's like
Yeah,
pretty good though. He's like pretty decent.
yeah, he's fine.
And like this card just makes him super insanely good.
Sure. I mean,
So like
not super insanely good. Like he still just dies to scrapwork at the 2/1, the 2/2 vigilance
yeah,
guy.
but like he's still good. I don't know. I'm high on him.
Yeah,
In the
I mean,
artifact deck,
cohort's good. Yeah,
artifact deck, he's like broken.
in the artifact deck, he's better than scrapwork mutt. In every other deck, scrapwork mutt's better.
Do you play Scrapwork Mutt in non-red decks?
You definitely would, yeah. Especially if you had
Yeah, I
any
think
access to like a tiniest bit of fixing, like a
like a refractor.
a refractor, or chromatic star, or whatever. Yeah, for sure.
I think the stats have Scrapwork cohort as the number one common.
Okay,
But
good for the stats.
Opening hand win, right? Yeah, okay. So next up we have Platoon Dispenser. 5 mana, do everything, make 1/1s for 4. If you have 2 creatures at the end of your turn, you get to draw a card, which is disgustingly easy to do.
Other creatures, right?
2 other creatures. Yeah, but like it makes them for 4 mana. It's so good. It's unbelievably strong. This is S tier.
Better than the
Probably above Dabbing Ape even.
Yep.
It just draws cards, makes an army. It's a 4/6, which is just like impossible to deal with normal creatures.
Yeah. Super good.
Yeah, it's a bomb.
Bomb,
Turbo
bomb.
bomb. And then we have the Takashia's elephant. I don't think that's what it's called.
Takashia's Onulet.
Yeah, the elephant. 4 mana, 4/4. I think it's I want to put it at bottom of C.
Yeah, it's more playable than those other 2 cards.
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah, okay. Next
Yoshin.
up, we have the Yoshin, whatever, the 1 mana
Frontliner. Yeah.
All right, you're gonna hate me, Ryan. This is bottom of B. Very, very bottom of B.
Top of D.
No, you're wrong. It's better than the C's.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is in white decks. Yeah, you get something +1/+1. That's good.
Specifically
It's a 1
in the white green deck, it's better than the C's.
It's
In
okay
every
in
other
white red.
deck, the C's are better.
It's okay in white red. You just want a million 1-drops. Like it's fine. I have it in.
Okay.
Bottom of B.
I mean, we're just passing out B's to everybody.
All right, next up we have okay, I don't know. Tavasi. That's my concession to Ryan.
Okay, whatever. I'll
For
take
his
that. I'll take
whining.
it. I'll take it. Ryan's whining, baby.
Okay, so then we have combat courier A tier.
Yep.
Top of
Bottom of
like
A. Yeah, it
yeah,
hurts. Like, but you just gotta realize all these cards are just so good.
yeah, they literally are all good.
Yeah. Like it's like and like it feels like we're giving out too many A's too, but like they're just
But
all
they're
so good.
so good.
Yeah.
The fact that it's a one drop is just insane. It's just so unbelievable. Like I think
This
you
is
play
divination.
yeah, it really is. I think you even played outside of blue.
I would play 8 of these before I would consider a research desk if given the opportunity. Like it's
Yeah.
so much better than research desk. It makes research desk bad.
Yeah. Yeah, it is good. It is very good. I'll leave it at that.
Okay.
Next up, we have the Mindbreaker, the Infinity Mana bad card.
7 mana,
What?
6/4. That whenever it attacks, they know half their library, round it up, and you know for 1 in triple blue.
Yeah, I got this in D minus.
Throw
Oh,
that,
give
throw
me
that in
the fucking
C.
two
Throw it in
seven.
C.
Give me the 2/7.
It's gonna win you.
Nah,
No, you're not taking the 2/7 over that.
I would take the 2/7 over that.
Like it's
I
gonna
would.
win you the game just as fast as the
I'm more
minutes, dude.
likely to want to play lands out of my graveyard than I am to try and mill my opponent with this. like,
Bro,
like, like,
like if this survive, like this is gonna trade for sure when it attacks because your opponent's gonna be terrified, and then you're gonna unearth it again. Like I don't know, it's almost enough to just win the game by itself. I mean, I'm not saying it's great, like, but yeah, it's definitely better than those D cards. I played it. I'd play it over. I'd play it over all of the C cards personally if I was like in blue. Like I'd have to be in blue though. All the other C cards I'd play over it if I wasn't in like their colors. You know what I mean?
yeah. All right. That's what we got for this one. Yeah. And if you disagree with us, do your own and tweet it at us or do whatever.
All right. I have a tier list for us too. It's the signpost on commons. Me and Roby have been arguing about this for like 2 weeks now. Best signpost uncommons are. And I'm gonna do mine a little bit different than I think Roby did it, but that's okay. I'm gonna start with Arbalest Engineers, and I think that's the red green one that does like it can do 1 damage to anything, it can get a counter and trample and haste for the end of the turn, or it can make a power stone token. It's a 2/2 for 3. I'm gonna put that at B starting off, and then we'll just rate cards based off that barometer. Like that's just a utility knife, right? Like it kind of does everything.
Yeah.
That's gonna be our line. So it's gonna be better.
I don't know if I have that at B. It probably is. It probably is.
Yeah, it's like close, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
It's
it
like
just does
top
so
of
much
B.
stuff. It's good enough.
It does a million things. Yeah.
It's definitely a B.
Then we have Battery Bear.
Yeah,
What do you think about Battery Bear, Ryan?
that's the 4 mana one that you know you can tap creatures and they become power stones basically. And whenever you cast a artifact spell with mana value 6 or greater, draw a card. So
You have
Battery
notably
Bear.
played this card before.
I have played it. I think like you could make it work, but I think it's like one of the worst. I'm gonna put it at a D. What do you think?
Yeah, I have an idea. It's by far the worst, I think. Like it doesn't its thing that it does is bad. Like you have to have cards that cost 6 or more in your deck.
And then you have to
Like I
tap
know
your
this proto
dudes that are
tech
like
stuff.
protecting you from dying.
Yeah, and you aren't like aggressing people with your
Yeah.
battery bear.
Right. Like
like
the whole point of battery bear is so you can like play big stuff, right? And then in order to
it
play
is
that big
huge
stuff,
though.
you
It
have to
is
tap.
pretty big. It is a
Yeah.
3/4.
But like you tap all your dudes down and then you play like your 8 drop and then they just kill your 8 drop and hit you in the face for 12 and you're like, well, I guess I can't do that anymore.
Yeah, like that's
Right?
basically how that battery bear has played for me.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I'm not a fan. I'm way down on him.
Same. Next we have Evangel of Synthesis. This is worse than Arbalest Engineers, right? This is the blue
I
black
think
one.
so. I think so. I don't think it's very good.
Yeah, this is the
For
blue
sure.
black one that draw a card, discards. It's a 2/3, and if you draw 2 or more, it gets +1/+1 menace. I mean, I think like you definitely want it in the blue black deck, where some of these other cards you're fine playing not,
Yeah.
but it's worse
like
than the red green.
yeah, it's
guy,
probably
for
like
sure.
a C.
Yeah, I
Like
agree.
You can usually get these guys on the wheel.
Yep.
I think. Yeah.
Well, maybe not the wheel, but like pick 6, right? Pick 7.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's okay.
Yeah, he's fine. But I think the blue black deck is not a deck like you really want to be in unless it's like super there. And
And
so,
like this isn't even like one of the best cards in that. I
right.
feel like
Yeah.
these other cards are like the best cards in their archetypes.
Some of them
And
are
this
for
one just
sure.
doesn't feel like it. Like you really just want gurgling annoyers in blue black. You don't even need this guy.
Yeah. I mean, he's good to trigger your
He's
gurgling
okay. Yeah.
annoyers, right?
Yeah.
Like, yeah. Next up, we have Falaji Vanguard. That's the 4-mana 2/3 with first strike.
Yeah.
And whenever another creature enters the battlefield, target creature is +2/+0.
S tier.
Surprisingly, not as good as I'd hoped.
No, you're wrong. This is why you put scrap or cohorts in your deck. I have it at S tier.
Give it an S tier?
Yeah, it's like one of the best ones for sure.
I don't think so. I think there's a lot of cards better than it. I'd be
I
willing to
have
put
it
it at
at top,
A, but like I think
very
it's
top of A.
close to Arbalest Engineer.
I have it at. Can we just agree at A? I think it's S tier.
I mean, I
Like,
think there's at least 3 to 4 cards that are better than it.
I don't know.
So-
I have it at top of A.
Okay.
What-
I'll put it at A, but like
Okay.
I would probably
Do you
have it
think
at
it's
top
better
of
than
B. The engineers, I
Arbalest
don't
one?
know. Like
No,
it's
it's way
close to
better.
me. No,
That's
I don't
first
think
strike,
so.
Brian.
I would love to see the stats on this. But yeah, we'll see. I think it's like close to Arbalest Engineers for sure.
Oh hell no! It's so good with all your unearthed stuff, right?
Yeah, like I mean, there's stuff that makes it good for sure, but like, oh, it just costs 4 for a 2/3 first striker. Like,
For
I
a
don't
2/3
know.
first striker that like is usually just a 4/3 first striker.
You gotta make me go to 17 lands. I'm not gonna do it.
Do it, coward.
Okay.
I'll bet you on this. I'll bet you on this. It's better than Arbalest Engineer.
What do you want to go by?
It's might have better improvement when drawn. No, I don't even think improvement when.
Okay, so Evangelist
Uh,
Synthesis is crazy good.
Color multicolored. Go to color multicolored.
Okay. Wow, Arbalest Engineers at the bottom. Yeah, It's-
Yeah.
it's third from the bottom.
What about
This is nuts. This list is not at all what I thought.
I don't think it's right.
People are just trying to
Go
jam.
to opening
index
hand
to-
win rates. Let's look at the opening hand win rates and see if it looks more realistic. Yeah, that looks more realistic.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't think so. I mean, then they're right there, close to each other, basically the same.
What's the Yoshin tactician?
That's
The
Soldiers one.
white blue guy.
Yeah.
I don't agree with the. Yeah. Okay. So
Well,
let's just
okay.
we're cutting all this.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So
okay.
yeah, we'll leave it at A. But I think I
I
could
think
tell you. I want to talk about the 17 lands. I think the reason that like Evangelist Synthesis is so high, because people only run it in the blue black deck, where these other cards people will try to jam into like decks they don't go in.
Everything. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know about I don't trust the data.
Yeah. Okay, we'll leave it at A for now. That's fine. Next
Okay,
up, we
what
have
about-
Hero of the Dunes.
I'm curious to see what you think about this. I haven't had like a lot of experience with this card.
Me neither. My heart just says B. Solid B. 5
I
minutes,
think it's a
return
solid B.
something.
It was really annoying. I had a game last night. I think it's better than the engineers for sure.
Same. Junkyard Genius.
S
Mr. Andrew himself. Did you say S tier or ass tier?
Ass tier. D. I have it at D.
I have
think
it
it's
at
like-
C.
Slightly better than Battery Bear.
I think it's significantly better than Battery Bear.
Yeah, probably. But yeah, I have it at bottom of C at least.
Yeah, that's where I have it too. Bottom of C. Next up, Sky Fisher Spider.
S.
He
Strong.
protects. He's just so good. He just makes bad decks playable.
He really does. That's
Yeah.
my opinion of him. Like he literally like gains you life.
He
if
does
you
it
want
all.
to. Yeah, like he kills stuff. He gains you life. He literally has reach and is a 3/3. Like he's so good.
Yeah, he just does everything. Like he comes in, he kills something, he blocks something, kills something, he gains you some
There are
life.
games where like your opponent could have a big flyer and like they still can't attack you because you'll gain like 7 life. If they trade with your with your stupid spider, like it's so stupid. Like he's incredibly good.
Yep. Next up, we have Third Path Iconoclast. This is the 2/1 that's blue and red that makes a 1/1 artifact every time you cast a non-creature spell. This is an S as well, right? But not as good as the
Yeah,
spider.
this is. I think there's a holy trinity in this,
Yeah.
but yeah, I have him at S. He just does so much stuff.
Yeah.
Like making one ones,
Like you
is
could make
super
the
good.
argument that he's more of an A just because like you can't really splash for him like you could the other S cards that we're gonna have. You know what I
I
mean?
Okay, so I do splash for him
Okay.
because if you have a lot of good fixing,
Yeah.
if you have a lot of good fixing, you can just put this in your deck and it's insane. Cause like all your fixing turns it on too. Like you make more artifacts, right?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
so any extra fixing you have isn't dead in your hand, it's a 1/1. And that's kind of good. So like you're like drawing a card with your chromatic star and making a 1/1, like it just kind of is insane.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good.
Like I jam him off color decks all the time. Like
Okay.
I'm a huge fan.
I'll leave him in this.
Yeah.
I like him too a lot. So next up we have Yoshin Dissident. That's the green white one that
Yep.
whenever an artifact enters the battlefield, you can put one encounter on a creature. Yes.
I have him in S too. Yeah, this is the holy trinity
Yeah.
of cards that are good to splash. Like
Just solid cards that you're happy to
super
back one,
solid,
pick
yeah.
one. Right.
Like absurdly broken if you get two on the battlefield, or if you ever have a scrapper cohort. It
Yeah,
just
all
is.
of the
Yeah.
notably, so many of these cards are just should all be legendary.
Yes, yes. He's absurd if you get two on the board. Have you ever done it?
Yeah.
I've gotten two on the board. It's so broken.
I got two on the board and then played the thing where you make 4/1/1 artifacts.
That's obscene. Yeah.
It's just like put 8 counters on stuff. Insta
So
concede on arena. My opponent just conceded when we
yeah,
saw
yeah.
the triggers go on the stack. It was hilarious.
So good.
Yeah, and then the iconoclast, if you have two of them, is stupid. Absolutely stupid.
Oh, it's so dumb.
And
And
the
if you ever get them
Vanguard.
together, it's the most broken thing you've ever seen in your entire
Yeah,
life.
that's what I'm saying. If you have two of them out, like, oh my god, forget about it.
Like if you get like the Yoshin Dissident and the Iconoclast out at the same time, it's like so broken.
Yeah, that's hard. That's a little hard to do, but yeah,
I
I'm
do
sure
it
it
all
would
the
be.
time. Like I'll play them together. I think they have a lot of synergy together.
Oh yeah, they do for sure. They're just opposite colors.
Yeah, but you play all the fixing. If you just have a deck of both of these cards and energy refractors, your deck's insane.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Next up, we have Yoshin Tactician. This is the 4-mana white blue
I'm
3/4
curious to see where you put this.
soldiers. You control get +1/+1. I have it at A underneath the Vanguard.
I'm a little conflicted. I almost have it in B. I don't think it's nearly as good as the Vanguard.
I think it is. I think it's.
I've had pretty bad luck with it. It just kind of like seems like it does so little. I
That's
don't know
because
if
that's
I have
because
enough
you're
soldiers.
that's because you're playing Dissidents and Iconoclast in the same deck
Yeah, yeah,
and not doing the soldier thing. Like, just do the
yeah,
soldier thing, and it's super good.
yeah. I think blue white's kind of a trap in this format, though.
I don't know. I mean, if you get a couple of those guys, it makes it pretty good, and you can like
But
copy
like,
with the.
is it pretty good?
Yeah,
Because like everyone else is like playing good 1 and 2 and 3 drops, and you just kind of have like a mediocre 4 drop. I don't know. I've
I
lost to
mean,
it,
I
but
think a 3/4 for 4 is fine. Like 4 toughness is pretty good, and then if
yeah,
it pumps like 2 creatures on turn 4, that's like insane, right? Because then that's like a 5/6 for 4, really,
yeah,
of stats.
yeah. I still think it's behind the Vanguard, though.
Yeah, yeah. I just have had bad luck with the Vanguard. I just think maybe that's anecdotal. I think the Vanguard could be definitely good.
Yep, huge fan.
Yep, that's the tier list.
The Holy Trinity of good. Yep.
Yep.
So next up, what do we have, Ryan?
Next up, we're gonna do a little debate segment called "Agree to Disagree." We both picked a card that we like, and I think mine's better than Roby's because I got Airlift Chaplain, which is the 3-mana 1/1 flying that when it enters the battlefield mode 3, and you can get a creature planes, and the creature has to be mana value 3 or less. Or you can put a 1/1 counter on it. What do you got, Roby?
I got Ambush Paratrooper, the 2-mana 1/2 flash flying soldier that can pump for 5 and give you
Garbage.
a
Oh,
2+1/+1.
Garbage.
What? What? Yeah, yeah.
Nothing. No, nothing. I didn't say
Absolute garbage. Yeah, probably like the best white common, genuinely.
Close, but
Very, very, very strong.
wrong.
What's your first point, Ryan? Like, it draws a card?
Airlift Chaplain draws a card. Yeah, it's basically Inspiring Overseer.
Yeah, but it kind of just like mills 3 too.
Yeah,
Right?
Inspire, which can be upside, as we talked about with
It can also be
Ambush.
like aggressive downside too, right?
Unearth, and why I don't
Yeah,
think it is. You got recommissions, you got Unearth. Like, I think
yeah.
it's upside.
If
Airlift
you just mill
Chaplain
3 commissions.
is basically Inspiring Overseer, so it's pretty good.
It just like it doesn't really draw you the card.
Yeah, because sometimes you don't want it to draw you the card, so then it's a 2/2 flyer for 3, which is also
Yeah,
good.
I don't know. It costs 3 mana though, Ryan.
Understand. That's why it's one of the better targets for recommission too.
It is pretty gross with recommission. You know what's even better? Ambush Paratrooper.
No, false. False.
So you make
You
a
have
2/2
never,
and
Roby,
2/2 in a planes or a 2/3 that pumps your
Roby,
entire.
you have
You're the aggro guy,
literally
right?
never recommissioned an ambush paratrooper when you've had a chaplain in your library. You've never done it in your
I
graveyard. I
have.
mean,
I have.
well, you had them both in the yard. There's
Yeah,
no way. There's no
for sure,
way.
genuinely, because like sometimes you just need that pump. That pump is super important in this format
Yeah, the
because you just
pump's
get like
good.
big, disgusting board states.
The pump's good, but drawing cards, man. Drawing
You
cards.
know what's not good?
What's
Having
that?
no way to ever get around the 2/3 Death Touch Spider.
You
Never being
think
able to trade with it
so?
with
Your
your
way to
Airlift
get around it is
is to get to 10 mana
10
and suicide your guy. That's a way, Ryan. Like, there's no way that you could ever get around it with Chaplain.
Yeah, it's
At
called
least you can with
recommission.
Paratrooper. It takes 10 mana,
Recommission.
but like, I think the pump is super real.
+1/+0 and first strike for 1.
Okay.
I'm not gonna live
Any
in a
other
place where
cards?
I'm terrified of spiders, Roby. I'm a grown
Yeah,
man.
they're terrible, but
Okay. That's not
I think
happening.
I think ambush. Okay, so like the other thing too is like sometimes you get to get people with the flash, right?
That's true. I did
That is
get got
cute.
with the flash before. Have got.
Like you can flash them in, give them a little pump or something. Maybe eat a combat courier. Maybe eat a stalwart that someone's trying to attack into. There's like tons of 1 mana creatures that people play on 1, then they immediately swing with on 2. What even if you're holding up mana, because most people think if you're like holding up mana, you have like a trick or something. But like just being able to play your paratrooper on 2
Or just that you have
at
nothing to do,
flash,
right?
you
Because
just
it's
get to
turn
eat
2.
so many free things.
Yeah. I did lose a
Like
third path iconoclast to it yesterday.
you did, yeah. Like it can just absolutely trick people so hard.
Yeah. Like I knew better than to attack into it, but I didn't really have non-creature spells in my hand anyway. So I was like, it's fine if he does something and kills this, because I'd rather him kill this than my other stuff.
Yeah, and it just like gets in damage to
Yeah.
like just infinitely.
That 17 turn clock is real. I'll give you 3 pumps. You get 3 pumps. You know what's better than a 17 turn clock? A 10 turn clock, like Airlift
Yeah,
Chaplain has.
and then just milling.
Yeah, just milling yourself with 3 cards, throwing some other stuff in your graveyard, upside, and then having a 2/2 flyer.
Yeah.
Airlift Chaplin's better because it's modal. Like it's a 1/1 flyer that draws you a card when you need it. It can hit you that land when you need it, or it can be a 2/2 flyer. It's whatever you want it to
Okay,
be.
so I think of ambush paratrooper as like more modal. It's like a bad eat their 1-drop removal spell. It's a board pump, and it's also a flyer when it needs to be too. Like just a. So I think it does more things even.
It does more things, but it costs more to do all the things. Mine's just a 3 mana. You make the decision there, you forget about it. You know what I mean? Like yours
Yeah.
is like,
I,
oh, do I?
I do think it's good, and I do think they both go in the same deck.
Let me ask you
I think
this:
the Paratrooper just edges them out just a little.
which ones are getting picked more highly? Do you think?
Probably
In your
Airlift
heart?
Chaplain.
Yeah, and there's a
Yeah,
reason for that because it's basically inspiring overseer.
it's definitely it doesn't feel as broken as Inspiring
It's
Overseer.
not. But
Like Inspiring Overseer, like as soon as your opponent played it, you're just like GG's. Like
yeah,
on 3, like you're just like, okay,
it's definitely
I have
off-brand, right? Like you can either have the 2 power flyer or you can have the card, but not both. It's like that's
yeah.
why inspiring overseer is so sick.
And it gained you a life. Like it's not
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
real comparison.
Yeah, I know. I'm just gonna keep saying it so I can win the argument.
I'm pretty sure I said that in the set review and called it the best white common. I do think Paratrooper just edges it out just a little though.
I don't know. I would also play Infinity Airlift Chaplains, and I'd play like
Uh,
max
you,
2 to 3 paratroopers.
I would probably play up to like 4.
Paratroopers? No, you
Yeah,
wouldn't. You only need
yeah,
one. You only need one ever. You're not gonna use both their pumps.
yeah. But like it's still just like a flyer.
But
It's the
yeah, but
cheapest
so
flyer you can have
but
in
like
white.
if you had like 5 open slots left in your deck and you could fill it up with Infinity Airlift Chaplains or paratroopers,
Very,
you'd put in like 2 paratroopers and 3
very
chaplains.
specific.
That's not that specific. Like you have 5 open slots in your deck and you have like as many airlift chaplains or paratroopers as you want, you'd put more chaplains and paratroopers, period.
Yeah, you probably want more chaplains and paratroopers, but I do think like, and I'm not even saying that you should like value the trooper higher than the chaplain.
This is sounding a lot like
I think
chaplains
it's
better.
better. No, I think ambush paratrooper is better. I don't think people are playing. I think like in the stats, I think it wins more than airlift chaplain does. But I think you probably have to take chaplains higher because I think more people just play them for no reason.
They're better. That's why I have to take them higher because they're better. Because like, if ambush paratrooper is just strictly better, you just take it over. Like, I'm never taking paratrooper over a chaplain.
It's harder to get. It's harder to get that.
Yeah, but like, even if it wasn't, I don't know.
I probably would.
Maybe if I had like 10 chaplains and I just needed
I'd
one
always take the
paratrooper
first paratrooper over the chaplain.
over the first chaplain, you're tripping.
I think it's more important to the deck. Like, I think they just serve different roles.
They do, right?
Because this is like the early game and late game card that you want, right?
Yeah, and mine's just the solid card you just want
In the
your deck.
middle. Yeah,
Yeah.
they're very different. I will give you that's good. Chaplain is super good, but
Let us know in the comments
Yep.
what you pick, chaplain or paratrooper. You have to pick one. You can't say they're both good. I'm team chaplain. Robi's team paratrooper.
yep, everyone's
us
gonna
know.
pick chaplain, but they're
Yeah,
all
I
wrong.
know. Okay, that's a hot take to calling everyone wrong before they've even voted, but we'll see how it pays off.
They're aggressively wrong.
All right, this week no alpha of the week. None of us went undefeated. So we're each gonna answer the question: how do you self-sabotage? I self-sabotage by wrecking my deck, sideboarding sometimes by over sideboarding and making my deck weaker.
Yeah, I definitely self-sabotage by putting Mesmeric Orb in my deck. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like my self-sabotage is also what makes me, right?
Yeah, that's just how you have fun, but
Like
you can still
49 cards
self-sabotage
around.
having
like,
yeah.
like I'm willing to just sabotage my entire draft just for science to see if it works. Or if it's like funny, right?
Yeah.
Like I'll self-sabotage to commit to the meme.
Yeah, that's fair.
But
That's our show.
yeah. All right. See you guys next week.
Catch you on the flippity flop.
Ah.